2013 is a really big year for the International Congress and Convention Association, which celebrates its 50th year. I'm talking to CEO Martin Cirque about upcoming initiatives and the Congress in Shanghai later in the year. Martin, we're here at ICCA's RSMP in Amsterdam, and we're now pretty much a few months away from the really big event in Shanghai. Just to remind people what that's all about.
Well, it's our annual Congress. It happens to be a special one because it marks our 50th anniversary. ICCA was founded in 1963, and actually we've been running a whole year's worth of celebration since November last year when we met at our Congress in Puerto Rico. But the climax to the 50th anniversary celebrations are our gala dinner in Shanghai. And I have to say that this has been a fantastic year, in part built on that 50th anniversary. Our recruitment of new members is higher than it's ever been. The speed with which our delegates have booked up for the Congress in Shanghai is unprecedented. Already by our early bird registration, we had 500 signed up from 50 countries, which is 30% better than we had last year. Quite amazing considering, budgets are still very, very tight. So, it's really captured the imagination, and we've used it as a hook for all kinds of promotions and ways of boosting our general message. And I think one of the most important things is going to come up in September, when we're going to be launching we normally have a 10-year calendar taken from our database around at that time, looking back at association meetings taking place by city and country ranking over a 10-year period. This year we're going to do a 50-year ranking. So we're looking at our data going all the way back to 1963 and taking 5-year snapshots and looking at how countries and cities have developed their association business over that whole 50-year time span. But what we're also going to do is, wrapped around that statistical overview, we're going to actually have a lot of strong advocacy messages, which actually help to get across the message of why international associations are so important. So this publication is not going to be called an ICCA 50-year statistics report. It's going to be called A Modern History of International Association Meetings, to help the powers that be, the politicians, other big budget holders and decision makers understand that international association meetings are an enormous power for good. They create and share knowledge, they help to drive scientific and healthcare advances, and of course they're a prime mover in helping to solve societal problems and world peace. So we want to get that message across, and we want to use this 50th anniversary as a way of making a contribution from our association to spreading the news about why these meetings are so vitally important.
Sounds great. I mean, it'd be lovely for Meeting the World to really tap into those figures, so I can't wait until September, and we can hopefully, work together to get that message across, because the statistics sounds fantastic. Mm-hmm. With respect to Shanghai, what else can people expect over there?
Surprises. I've already been speaking this evening to some of the delegates who are here, who are also going to Shanghai. And almost none of them have been to China before. And I think we'll find that probably 80%, maybe 80% of our delegates will not have been to China, except maybe as a tourist dropping in to see the classic tourist destination. So the chance to see behind the scenes of what is actually driving China's economic transformation is going to be quite unique. We know that it's enormously interesting to our members across Asia Pacific. The delegates from there are running about 80% higher proportionately than when we have a meeting outside of that part of the world. For example, more than 40 Australians signed up before the early bird deadline, which is just staggering, really. But we have big delegations from Japan, from Malaysia, from all the places you would expect to have a good, solid turnout. And what's interesting is that they're not just sending the normal 1 or 2 top-level CEO directors. They're actually sending a big chunk of their management teams. We've got a number of members sending 6, 7 members, because they know that given the way we run the Congress, there will be something for each of them. At any one time, they won't be sitting in the same sessions listening to the same things. They will have plenty of choice about whether they're exchanging business, going for an in-depth discussion with an expert on a particular topic, or listening to a workshop or participating in some kind of exchange of ideas. So we work really hard to make sure there's at least 6 or 7 major things people can choose between, but we also want to make them aware that they can design their own program as well. They don't have to go to a session every time there's a session on. To be honest, if anybody does that, I think they'd be exhausted because, they're running pretty much from breakfast time till early evening. And I don't think people can actually absorb that amount of time. So we want people to be setting up one-on-one meetings, small consortia meetings, private discussions, take some time off, deal with that RFP, talk to the office. It's not about getting away from your work. It's about turbocharging your work while you're there. I don't know about you, but when I go to a conference, I will typically end up working 14, 16 hours is not unusual. And I don't know, most of my friends in the business are that way inclined. We don't let our emails fall behind. We sit up and we finish them off. So this idea of going to a conference as being taking you away from your desk. Nowadays, who actually sits behind their desk to do their work? We're totally mobile. So if your potential clients, people with business leads, people you could set up consortia or partnerships with are going to be there in Shanghai, why would you sit behind your desk in Melbourne or Paris or London and wait for the business there? Why not go out and actually search for it?
Sounds like a terrific opportunity, Martin. Thank you very much for talking to me.
It's a pleasure, Ian.